What's good, y'all? It's your boy Plowtree. I just want to do a quick channel update on how I fried my fucking computer and how I rebuilt it. And this is kind of also a budget build video.
Threat eliminated!
Alright, so what had happened was the game actually died while I was playing Starfield, but this is the processor I had. It was a Ryzen 5 5500 6-core AM4 processor. I got a B550 motherboard, so this is what I paired with it. I actually got this before I had that motherboard though, but as you can see, it's a good entry-level CPU. It's got good reviews and shit like that, but I actually burned it up. I think I put too much thermal paste. I'm gonna put some images of that, but I had to rebuild my whole computer. I kind of threw a parts cannon at it, and that's what this is about and what not to do. So let's start with the original build list. I'm gonna go down the list and put the prices next to everything. This was essentially a budget build. I had a HP Pavilion gaming computer, and I bought a RTX 3050, and I kind of had to transfer shit once I got the processor and get a new motherboard and stuff. So starting out with the motherboard, it was like $96. It's a B550MK from Gigabyte AM4 motherboard. It should get the job done. Just check the clock speed of the DIMM slots for your RAM to make sure you buy the right RAM for the right clock speed. The case is next. This is a simple part, so this one was just under 60 bucks. It's a Gamdias Aura GC1 or something like that. I don't know, typical 3-fan in the front, 1 fan in the back case, glass case. So do what you will with that. Get whatever case you want, just make sure all your shit fits. Alright, so this is a Pevia Spirit 600 watt power supply. I do not recommend you buy this. It's 33 bucks, it's super cheap, but it came overnight too, so that's why I got it. But I recommend you probably get a better power supply. If you're gonna be cheap, you can use a thermal take. I actually rebuilt mine with that, but the power supply that I have, it still works, but I thought that it was why my computer was fucked up, but that wasn't why. It was the processor. But anyways, the power supply, it's not like 80 plus certified or anything, so it's kind of shitty, so don't get that one. This is the RAM that I'm running now. I had like 16 gigs in it before, so 2 sticks of 8. This is 32, so it's 2 sticks of 16. The motherboard has a max of like 128, so you could have 4 sticks of 32 with the B550. But the clock speed on these is 3200, which the motherboard can take, so just make sure you don't overclock the RAM and shit if the motherboard is not built for that. And also, overclocking in general can kind of fry your shit unless you know what you're doing. So yeah, get your ass a cooler and some thermal paste. Be modest, don't be like me. And I also replaced this cooler too. It was nothing wrong with it. I'm sure it will work fine for many of y'all, but I got the NZXT Kraken, so I will show kind of how that works and shit, and how you can make sure you don't burn up your more expensive processor or your first processor, whatever it is. It comes with a fan on it in the first place, the Wraith cooler, so usually that shit is fine unless you just have a poorly ventilated case or something, I guess. Alright, so let's get into the new build and what I done that actually works. I almost forgot one part though, this little fan splitter, just to make sure the RGB lights work. I don't have a RGB header on my motherboard, so you may need a fan splitter too if you don't have one of those headers, if you want to use like RGB functions of your case and all that shit. So I wasn't monitoring the CPU temperature at all when I first built the computer. And you're about to see a real-time crash when I was playing Cyberpunk. I was trying to see if this glitch still worked, but the game just kind of crashed right after that. it subsequently continued to do that up until I could not turn the shit on anymore, which is why I thought it was my power supply. So the image that I showed earlier, I'll show it again now. This thing, the CPU was fucking baked onto the heatsink, so I had to pry it off with some pliers, and I ended up actually bending the pins, which, if you know, can cause some difficulties with the Micro Center warranty. So I went to go replace it with the exact same processor, and I kind of ended up telling the sales rep what happened. He was, typically, oh, I don't know, if they'll replace it, and because the pins are bent, and like, what the fuck. So he just told me to go get in line anyways. So that's what I was gonna do. I went, got in line, the guy checked it out. They didn't even really fucking check it. So they replaced it with another 5500 Ryzen 5, and the system still wouldn't post. Their shit wouldn't turn on at all. So me, pissed off and having a shitty $33 power supply, I'm thinking maybe I should just get another cheap but not shitty power supply, because I just spent a bunch of money on the computer like in the last few days. I'm not really trying to get like a super expensive power supply at this time, and I don't think I'm pulling that many watts. So I take this thing out, put it in another computer. Doesn't do anything. I actually have a older Ryzen 5 in a server. It's like a 2400G or something. That shit worked perfect. So that let me know my processor, the 5500, was actually fucked up. So I was thinking the 7 was probably bottlenecking my system anyways. So why not just pay the difference for the upgrade? So took that shit right back to Micro Center, of course. So I want to just kind of include the actual part list for the running machine that I have now. I'll put the prices next to everything in an actual list format, since I didn't do that earlier in the video. And I also did kind of want to point out how this NZXT app works, and I'm going to show some gameplay with the cooler working and kind of some of the cool features. And I may do a separate review on it, but I just kind of want to show that it actually works. And during intense gaming moments, my CPU is actually cooler, well within the limits of where it should be.
Hold on, reloading! Grenade out! Target eliminated! Target ready! Watch out!
Earlier, I showed some crashes with Cyberpunk. Well, a crash, but Starfield is what I was actually playing when the system, it pretty much went to the point of no return. So I couldn't boot it anymore. As you can see, it's running now. I have the CPU and GPU temperature in the top right. So buttery smooth, running around and shit. Space combat is fine too. That's actually less intensive on it, GPU and the CPU. More so than firefights and stuff like that. So I have some firefights in here too, but I wanted to show kind of the settings that I put down. So first, there's only like 3 things that are on medium. For the most part, everything's on high. I had to turn the anisotropic filtering down to 2, but that's pretty much it. I didn't have too many frame drops. So far so good, as you can see with the new build. I mean, for attempt number 2 for the first build. So this is the first computer I actually made myself. But still, as you can see up there in the top right, you know, shit's going smooth. It's not getting too hot and stuff like that. I haven't gotten to play Cyberpunk again yet. I'm gonna play it soon, but we'll see how shit goes. But yeah, let me know if y'all like the video. If you got comments or questions and shit, leave them below. Appreciate y'all for watching.